Early this morning, the June employment data was released about employment and unemployment in the country. And the Orange Ape, real quick, called a news briefing to offer a few tweet-sized assessments, according to Philip Bump, writing at the Washington Post, on how wonderful the economy was doing. No mention was made of the fact that the assessment used to estimate employment preceded this recent resurgence of the coronavirus. I mean, the Orange Ape is such a low-life, low-class bastard that he will jigger numbers and figures and trends to make his presidency look like it is worth something other than what it is worth, which is not a damn thing except destruction and division. So we had Trump standing before the television cameras, hyping a number of new employment records, praising, as he put it, quote, historic numbers in a time that a lot of people would have wilted. Oh my God, wilted? Wilted. He actually used that word. I wonder who put that in there for him. Huh? That sounds like one of those upper class, Upper East Side New York words that his screwed up son-in-law, Jared Kushner, must have dropped in there. Say wilted, Daddy. Wilted. An example, when he celebrated the month-over-month gain in employment, this is what he said, quote, it was just put out, this is this morning, that the United States economy added almost 5 million jobs in the month of June, shattering all expectations. This is the largest monthly jobs gain in the history of our country, end quote. OMFG. It is true that it's the largest monthly jobs gain in the history of the country. Yes, that is true. But it's also a bit like a restaurant boasting about seeing an increase in customers after being told by the health department that it had rampant code violations and was therefore being shut down until the restaurant cleaned up the filth. And they cleaned up the filth and reopened, and all of a sudden, yeah, hey, look at all our customers. Boy, it's the highest number of customers in our restaurant ever. Yeah, that's because your restaurant was shut down for a month. But this is Trump. This is the lying Orange Ape, this gangster bastard fascist. So, of course, he's going to say something like that. So, yeah, the 4.8 million jobs added in June is more than any prior month on record, stretching all the way back to 1939. But that followed the record drop in April of 21 million jobs lost, which was a record all its own. And that followed a drop of 1.5 million jobs in March, the third highest drop figure on record. But we don't, in Trump world, you don't talk about stuff like that. I mean, come on. Now, adding jobs is obviously good. And it is important, however, to note that employment in the United States is still down significantly for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is the Trump pandemic, the Trump virus, and the way the Orange Ape did not respond to the warnings by every single public health official of any merit whatsoever, not just in this country, but on earth. But Trump doesn't believe in science. Since February, when employment was at its peak in February, Since then, 15 million fewer Americans are working. Since Trump took office in 2017, January 2017, 8 million fewer people are working. Huh? Oh, well, Mike, come on, don't piss on Trump's parade. That wasn't the only record that Trump touted. The May jobs numbers, he said, quote, were revised upward to 2.7 million jobs for a combined total of 7.5 million jobs created in the last 2 months, and that's a record by many millions of jobs, end quote. I mean, how do you respond to somebody this delusional, who makes up shit as he goes along, who just lies for the sake of lying, because the truth is as foreign to the orange ape as Mars? All these numbers follow 2 months in which job losses were about as bad as they've ever been. In March and April of this year, 22 million jobs were lost, which is the worst 2-month decrease in employment on record. And the same dynamic applies to his celebration of industry-specific numbers. Oh, this is where it gets good. This is what he said, quote, in June, we added 2.1 million leisure and hospitality jobs. We added 740,000 retail jobs, 568,000 education and healthcare jobs. Education? 357,000 service jobs. These are all historic numbers. And 356,000 manufacturing jobs. End quote. Now, it's important to know, if you're interested in the truth, that those leisure and retail jobs are once again at risk because coronavirus cases are increasing. Restaurants and stores have to close down again, as it's already happening in Florida and Texas and California. But second, these are also small recoveries from big declines. I'm going to quote some figures to you now, thanks to the Washington Post. Here's how the 1-month change in each of these different industries compares to February and to when Trump took office. Okay? In the leisure, what do they call it? The leisure and hospitality jobs. The monthly change was 2.8 or 2.1 million plus. It went up 2.1 million jobs. But the change since February, now remember the numbers he's touting is June, but the change since February were down 5 million. And the change since January 2017, when the orange ape took over, the overall change down 4 million. Okay, from when he took office. Retail, in the retail business, clerks in department stores and so on and so forth and what have you. 740,000 jobs were added in June, but that's still 1.3 million less since February. Fewer jobs, I should say, since February. And 1.5 million fewer jobs since Trump took office. Education. 568,000 jobs were added in June, but that's still 1.8 million fewer jobs right now, today, since February of this year. And it's still 166,000 fewer jobs than when the ape took office in January 2017. The service industry. Trump was out there crowing like a drunk rooster this morning about 357,000 more jobs in the service industry. But that's still 752,000 fewer than we had in February. And 542,000 fewer than when Trump took office in January 2017. And then you manufacturing. That was the last one, right? Trump was crowing this morning about 356,000 more jobs in June in manufacturing, which is still 757,000 fewer jobs in manufacturing than there was in February, 4 months ago. And 274,000 fewer jobs than when the ape took office in January of 2017. So, Trump's crowing like a drunk rooster this morning is just pretty much that, like a drunk rooster. And we know how drunks can crow, right? Especially orange apes who occupy the White House. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.